Hello, 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 hello. My name is Claire. Welcome back to my channel, Cool Claire ASMR. So the first thing I want to say is Happy New Year. It's been a little bit since I posted. I did get to go home for Christmas, and my tripod also broke right as I was coming back here. So I just got a new one yesterday, so I'm ready to kick off my posting for the year. And I also just want to say hello to my handful of new subscribers coming from both my Nurse Joy video and my Reckless Journal video. I hit 500 subscribers and 600 subscribers very quickly, so that was excited. So thank you so much. And if you've been here, hello to you too. Always good to see you. So, like many of us, I have been reflecting on the past year as this new year has begun. And one of the ways I like to express myself is through art, through illustration and collage mostly. And I thought that would be a great way to kind of kick off the new year by looking back at the art I made in 2023. So I want to just kind of show you the piece, do some tracing. And if there's any specific emotions or inspiration or references that have to do with that piece, I just want to kind of deep dive into discussing that with you, because a lot of you are new and that's a good way to get to know me. And a lot of you that have been here, I don't share a lot of super personal things all the time, and sharing my art is one of the more personal things I do on this channel. So I just thought it would be fun, and you know my philosophy is I'm having me time, so sharing my art is something I like to do. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright guys, I want to look at the drawings that I made this year in my sketchbook, and I will be showing you in the order that I made them. So the first one we're looking at today is this Queen of Hearts card. And I made this in January of 2023. I remember because I made it when I was dating somebody, and what inspired this piece was that they asked me if I could be any card in a deck of cards, what card would I be? And I said the Queen of Hearts. And I feel like that's kind of a basic answer, but I honestly do quite like the aesthetics of the Queen of Hearts, so it's my true answer even if it's the basic answer. But anyway, I just drew a close-up of her face because I found drawing the body quite difficult, and most of my drawings are of women's faces anyway, so it felt more on brand anyway too. Sorry, I just went and turned the air off. Anyway, it felt quite on brand for me to just draw a close-up of the faces anyway. And I made it melting because that's also something I like to do in my drawings to make it feel a bit more me. And I definitely kind of struggled with the more particular shape of the card. So the ruler was brought out for this one. I like this light pink with the hearts background. And the heart cheeks. I like the vibrant blue as well. And obviously, obvious inspiration was an actual playing card. So anyway, that's all I really need to say about this one, so we can move on. Okay. The next drawing that I'd like to show you, I'm going to bring out some paintbrushes to trace this time. I use this little one, but once again it's of a woman's face, and this one was inspired by a portion of a segment of a poem that I saw on Tumblr, and a particular line in the segment that goes, "It's so hard to disappear with no one noticing." And so this was my interpretation of this line. I think I made this one in April, I want to say. And at this time I was on my first travel nurse assignment, so I was spending a lot of time alone. So I think I was really resonating with that sense of being absent from the life that you knew, even though I was, doing different things. But I was away from all my friends and family, so I felt very isolated, and making this drawing was a good way to, capture that feeling. Some of my favorite parts of this drawing is the places that I made her start to disappear. I particularly like this eye, highlighted with that bright blue again that I used in the last, and the tear also has disappeared. I contemplated if the makeup should remain or not, but I decided that her eyeshadow was still present, but the eye had disappeared. I also like the flowers that have disappeared. And I'm using a lot of gel pen, that's what this is here, for these little flowers. And I quite like the way that looks, and I like the purple hair as well. But overall, even though it's quite a sad piece, I think that the happy color palette definitely, is a contrast that it was springtime at the time I drew this as well, even though I was not feeling so springy. All right, let's look at the next. The next one that I want to look at is this one, and I think I'm going to choose another brush. This fan brush is very delicate. And I made this one in June. I remember because I made it while I was on my vacation in Colorado, which I made a video about that you should check out. But anyway, just of a woman's face, and it's completely, pause for church bells, completely made out of crayons. I was staying in the kids' bedroom at our Airbnb Vrbo thing, and there were books and toys and then a bunch of crayons. So I decided to utilize the available materials in my environment to make this drawing. And naturally, my favorite thing to draw is women's faces. So I think at first it was just scribbles, and then it turned into a face. And she has like a head covering going on. It's also like her bloody nose is like feeding into it. And then the return of the heart cheeks, which I quite like that. I think it looks cute. I also quite like the way I made the eyes in this. And I like all the layers of color. The kind of green and yellow is kind of sickly a little bit. But then the warm pink and cheeks. And I like the way the eyes are as well. You know, not the most skillfully done, but for I think such a like not planned out drawing at all, I like the way it turned out. Next, I have this drawing, which I also drew on that same vacation. I was feeling very inspired. I think anytime I'm in the mountains, I have a lot of like artistic energy flowing anyway though. So this one, classic sun and moon imagery, which is something I've always, gravitated towards. This was actually inspired by my own sun and moon painting that I made in 2013. If I can find a picture, I'll insert it. But it was just of like a sun and moon intertwined, which I probably copied off of something I saw on Tumblr, to be honest, because when I was learning how to draw, I definitely would just redraw things I saw on Tumblr, but it's a great way to learn. Anyway, I did this sun and moon dancing. So I like the way that I drew the sun kind of like little wisps. Honestly, my favorite part are the sun's heart-shaped sunglasses though. Again, with all the heart imagery, something I quite like. They're both wearing this very vibrant pink with flowers and rainbow limbs, and they're dancing out in space, and the moon is a crescent moon with a cow t-shirt on and kind of like electric light rims. I also like the little zigzags on the pants here. Little zigzags. And ripped pants with their little knees shining through. But yeah, I like how vibrant these colors are. This is actually a pack of markers that I got at TJ Maxx that work quite well, honestly. I don't think they're very blendable, but they're very crisp and vibrant. Looking for a different word, but I just can't find it right now. Okay. Next is this drawing, which is definitely my favorite illustration that I made in 2023 for sure. I like it because I kind of pushed myself a little bit by drawing a full body, which, from my other drawings, like the last drawing, it was other bodies, but not quite, there was no anatomy to consider. I apologize if thunderstorm is starting up, but I think it could be nice. But anyway, this drawing, the reference I use is a picture of these two girls I saw on Tumblr, which I will show you. And that's how I did the posing. But when I first started this drawing, I just had this face drawn over here. Just had this face drawn. And then I decided to draw the other girl. So, and I actually took pictures of my own face with my hand for this part of the drawing. So this one was definitely very reference heavy, but I'm really like happy with how it turned out. It's still not perfect, of course, but I'm proud of myself nonetheless. So, I don't know, the story here is just like, it could be interpreted one or two ways, I think. One is like a lover, like they're lovers, and like the one that's cold, and then the one that kind of got dragged down with them in their heartbreak. And then it's like yourself, like something about like shredding an old self or something like that. I think I kind of lean towards more that it's like a romantic thing. This very tender hand on the cheek here. But, you know, sometimes I make art and I don't really know the story. And I think that's the good thing about art, is you can put your own reflection on it. It can be a reflection of self. So, like I said, I really like this drawing, but there's some favorite parts. I like this like laser beam part coming from her eye. I like, of course, this hand and how like where the hands are touching, her skin's starting to model and, you know, become cyanotic. And her hand is becoming warm because she's like feeding off of her liveliness, you know. I also like this scalloped fish scale stocking. More heart imagery. It is very rare that I make something that doesn't have some sort of heart imagery in it. And I like the skeleton hand as well. But yeah, I really like this piece. And it's definitely my favorite thing that I've drawn in a while. So. Okay. And then that brings us to the last drawing of 2023. As you can tell, I don't make that many drawings. I didn't make as much art this year as I would have wanted. It was a very busy year full of change for me, so that is definitely a goal for 2024, is to make more art, but everything that I did manage to complete I quite like, so that's always good. This drawing was inspired by a conjoined strawberry that I got in a pack of strawberries. I always buy strawberries every week for my lunch, and I had a perfectly symmetrical conjoined strawberry, which I will insert a picture of because I find it very odd. That's the first time I had seen anything like that, so like perfectly symmetrical. So I decided to draw it. In the past I had drawn a similar strawberry face drawing in like 2019, I want to say, so this is kind of like a natural successor to that drawing. But anyway, so I recreated my conjoined strawberry. Of course I gave it a face. So some of the seeds are eyes and some are just seeds, rosy cheeks. One's a frowny, one's a little frowny face, and one's a smiley face. It reminds me of those smiling, well, I guess I'm taking inspiration from the smiling and frowning like theater masks. And then I have collaged the words every day. Oddity, because that's what it is. And in my mind, it's everyday oddity like you and me. Because what are humans but an everyday oddity? And I had these stripes going all around originally, but then I decided I didn't really like the way that looked, so I blacked it out, but then I ended up leaving it at the bottom. And I think that looks more balanced that way with this at the bottom and more words here. And the next drawing is my first drawing of 2024, so we won't be showing that yet. All right. Now we can get into the collages I made this year. This little poor collage book is bursting. If you've been on the channel for a while, then you've seen this before, but I have quite a few new people, so check out some of my other collage videos if you're interested. All right. So I would say I didn't really collage until the second half of the year, because the first half of the year I did not bring my collage stuff with me. But where I'm at now, I brought stuff to collage, so I definitely have been doing more. So I probably made this, I'm gonna say in July or August. So it is like an advert. So I have these two people, and I actually got these images from a National Geographic about a VR wedding, which I think is very topical as VR is making a comeback. But that National Geographic was definitely from the 90s, so that was an extremely edgy thing to be doing. So anyway, I have these two people from that article. I've got the computer here, and it says, "A little love help here. Call toll-free 1-800-RECIPES for and ask for Dr. Anxiety. Or fill out, tear out, and mail this, and we'll get back to you immediately. Mail to Dr. Involvement. Mark your envelope personal with other 202 with 75th Other Women, Illinois 60597. First 48 callers to receive an expedited evaluation. Rapid results. Don't forget your return address." So it's very chaotic. I was trying to, make like crazy pop-up ad energy, which I think I achieved that. And yeah, this was a fun way to kick off a year that had not seen much collage from me. All right, the next collage is this one that says in big letters here, "Let's unzip and let's unfold." I made this one when my friend came over for a art night, so I made this while chatting and catching up. So it is extremely random because I was more focused on my company than my art making, but I still like the way it looks. Got like a old letter and some sheet music, and then I have this lady who has this whole contraption on her head. And then this lady from a vintage Claritin ad looking wistfully in the distance. And the background of that ad. And I used my washi tape that I have been hoarding and not using of the little microbes. So yeah, definitely a very stream of consciousness. Kind of collage, no prior inspiration. but I had just been holding on to a lot of these images, so I just put them all together to make that. She's like, oh, I can breathe again. Alright. Next I have this one. And it has this lady holding a crucifix. And then it has this woman who has her body in the shape of one. So I kind of just aligned it with that in the shadow there. And then I have this laser beam background going on, so I put some shades on her because of that. And it says, I am the light beam. Which seemed like it made perfect sense to put this. And we got a few different textures going on with the different kinds of paper. And then to cover our model up here, we have the words erotic soul goddess. So this one was definitely, like, I just wanted to use this image. So this one was definitely inspired by me wanting to use this image, and then I found that this kind of matched the cross, and it just kind of all developed from there. My favorite part is definitely the sunglasses on her. Mixing it up, going vertically instead of horizontal though. Next is the most planned out collage that I have made in a while. It was inspired by these background images of these monster masks, because when I saw this article in the magazine, the Lady Gaga song Monster popped in my head. So I have the lyrics here. He ate my heart and then he ate my brain, which is my favorite part of that song. So I knew that I wanted to use these monsters and those words, but the rest of it just kind of came along. So we have Frankenstein's monster. I'm not sure who this guy is. And then the creature of the Blue Lagoon, Black Lagoon. Sorry for my limited knowledge of historically iconic monsters. And then I have this heart sticker that I've had forever, and then a skull with no brain, little lines to show that. And then this is going to hurt, isn't it? And then these people all kind of woven together, I feel like captures the idea presented here. So that was an interesting focal piece that I kind of found randomly. And yeah, this is probably my favorite collage I've made in quite a long time. I really like the blue and purple color scheme. I like this kind of like catches your eye because you're like, whoa, what's going on? And then you're like, oh, okay. And I also like that I gave some blood splatters. So I splattered red paint on this. And it's very, very fine. I think it adds a really cool effect. And yeah, definitely is a good I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's a nod to a good Lady Gaga song, tribute, a good tribute to one of my favorite Lady Gaga songs. And I like how like his hands are kind of disconnected here. And then I used some stamped lettering because I couldn't find exactly what I wanted. And I only had this super light teal ink pad at the time, so it's like very hard to see, but then the words heart and brain are more noticeable, so I think that's okay. I have since bought some new ink pads that I've yet to try, but I do have them now. So I think I will be doing more like this. You have to do some censoring on this one because I used a piece of spam mail, so it has some personal information present. But immediate response to this notice requested. Final notice. Find yourself, you know, with the lady with her money earrings. This was the last collage I made in 2023, and it was definitely inspired by receiving that spam mail. They spelled my name crazy. To Claren. And that is all the art I made in 2023 that I want to show it or finish pieces at the very least. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.